Hi guys, welcome back to Spanish class. Today we're going to be talking about how to conjugate a verb. Conjugate means how do you change the ending of a verb so that you can make it fit the rest of the sentence. So if you're talking about one person doing an action verb or three people in a group doing an action verb, those kind of things. So first, excuse me, we need to review a few little basic English terms before we can apply them to Spanish. So when you are looking at my screen here, you'll notice that we have learned these topics before in our ELA classes, that something can be in first person singular version. That just means one person, and that'd be like I or me. That's first person. If there was one person and we were talking in second person in a sentence, we would say you, because it's someone else that's here, with us, but it's still just one person. And then the third person version would be like he or she, because it's other people we're talking about. Then if you made it plural, like multiple people in a group, instead of it being I by myself in first person, it'd be we and us together. Second person still could be you, but it's more like y'all, you all as a group over there. Or if it's like other people we're talking about in a group, it could be they or them. That's the third person. So this is the chart you're going to see on your mastery check. And this is very similar to the chart we're going to practice with today. But I wanted to show you what that meant in English before I showed it to you in Spanish. So the same thing applies here. Same chart. It just doesn't say singular, plural, first person, second person, third person, but it's set up the exact same way. So these are the singular versions. These are the plural versions. This is right here is the first person, second person, third person. Yo, we have already learned means I am. Tú means you. Él and ella mean he and she. We're going to ignore usted and ustedes for now because we have to learn a different idea about formality before we can know what those mean. So just ignore those bottom lines. You could even cross them out on your worksheet. Speaking of, as I'm deleting those and you could cross that out, you could also, if you wanted, pencil in right here that it means I and me, if that's something you want to help you, that this means you, that this means he or she. And hopefully you start to memorize these in your head. But for now, if you need it, since it's new, totally understand. Then here in the plural, nosotros and nosotras would mean we and us, we said. Vosotros and vosotras would mean y'all, right? Like you all. And then ellos and ellas would mean they and them. Okay? So we are going to pick a verb each time we practice conjugating a verb. We're going to find out what it means in English, and then we are going to change the endings of it to match how different Spanish verbs change at the end. Okay, so we're going to look at an instructional resource that you have a copy of. And we're going to focus on ER verbs today. That's all we're going to focus on. Those are Spanish words that are action verbs that end with ER. And these are the ways their endings change. If we are changing to conjugate them to like the I, you, he, she, we, they, them, all kind of versions, y'all. And so this will apply to almost all ER verbs. There's only a few that are like tricky and don't follow the rule, and we'll learn those separately. Some of them are like simple linking verbs and whatnot, but most of the action verbs will follow this rule. And later, when you learn AR and IR endings, these will still all be very helpful to you. And a lot of them are close or match each other, so that's pretty easy too. So let's focus on the ER verbs today. And we are going to pick the verb leer, which we would pronounce leer. So leer, you can write it into your blank at the top of your chart. Leer means to read. So you saw back on the reference chart that if we were conjugating it to be like I read, that we would say leo. We would drop off the er ending and add the o. Then if we were saying you read, we would say lees. He reads or she reads would be lee. And then if it was we read, or we wouldn't say us read, right? We'd say we read. Leemos. If we were saying y'all read, or you all, or you as a group are reading, we would say leéis. And this E would have an accent mark over the top of it. I'm not going to take the time to insert that from my tools up here, but with your pencil, you should definitely add that accent mark on top of this E. And then on they read, we would say lein. Leen. So let's practice saying those. Whisper, say them to yourself along with me. We'll kind of do a repeated reading. Leo, Leo. Lees, lees. Lee, lee. Leemos, leemos. Leis, leis. Lein, lein. Good job. Now you're going to go do this with a partner through your Seesaw activity board, and it'll tell you to practice some other ER verbs together out loud and on your charts before you're ready to try it in a mastery check. Good job, guys.